So, hi, Kyla, are you there? You might have to
Yeah,
say yes for the recording.
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. That's great. So, Kyla, I'm really excited we've got together. We've been wanting to do this for a while because you and I
Yeah.
speak a lot in private, and we also speak a lot via the online channel known as Facebook Metaverse. And we've noticed each other because we have a similar kind of ambiance that we are dismayed at how little we seem to be able to speak about reality with loads of people around us. And I think you said to me, it's the feeling of this enormous silence kind of coming in and constricting us. And so I thought it'd be good for us to speak today and hopefully encourage and invite more and more people to speak with us should they want to, and to be able to speak uncensoredly without repackaging and reframing other people's individual realities. So, what do you say about that?
I think that's perfect, and I'm so glad to be able to talk to you about this on this level because you go everywhere and you just get stopped everywhere in your conversation. You're not allowed to go so far, and you seem to have had a certain life experience where you can actually go to that place without having a meltdown about it and actually finish a conversation about it, about loads of things. So that's good for me. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm happy to do it, and definitely.
yeah,
Definitely needs to get out the stuff that we're saying because I don't think people realise it yet because I didn't used to realise it till recently.
yeah. I mean, one of the things that I found really helpful about knowing you, Kyla, because we've only known each other because of an online channel, the Metaverse. My partner
Yeah,
noticed you and pointed you out to me and said she's really speaking out as well. And I was really excited. And I think you and I get really pissed off about there is not enough everyday conversation about the darkness that is really here. And, you know, that's one of the most frustrating
yeah,
things, isn't it?
that's like an arm of the silence. I think. Yeah, we do definitely go into that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to mention a couple of topics that you and I have spoken about
Okay.
because, as I said to you before, I didn't feel I could go to anyone to speak about some of the really unpleasant deep dives I'd had. And one of them was the MK Ultra Monarch slave programming that I read about.
Mm.
And the other one, yeah. And
Very
it was,
funny games, aren't we?
yeah, but it
Yeah.
was so horrific that I literally went into like a PTSD feeling. And I felt like I can't talk to anyone about this apart from Kyla because I knew that that wouldn't phase you. Um,
Yeah.
you know, you're not doing bypass.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah. Um. Yeah. It seems when we bring up MK Ultra mind control for anyone, mind control programs from certain controllers and state and stuff like that, we just get shut down. It's too much, but we'll go into that as we go forward through this conversation. What
yeah,
happens
yeah,
when we talk about it?
definitely. And I mean, I think I find it quite, you know, I can be at peace with it on some days and not other days. Like, there are so many different narratives in the awakening community, and especially in communities or just individuals that like to call themselves spiritual. People that say, I'm spiritual or I'm on a spiritual path. And we've spoken about this before. And it's like, I don't even know what these narratives mean to different people unless they're willing to flesh it out for me. What do they mean by that? Or what do they mean about this is an ascension or this is a something? You know, I'm really interested to hear what people are saying because I want the same back. You know, it's like I feel it's really important that we do all get together and share our translations of reality without it having to be no,
In
that
a hierarchy.
yeah, the power hierarchy and someone else is the expert, but you're not, you know, or someone else isn't, and you know, all this kind of teachery energy that we don't like.
Well, to be honest, I haven't found many of them that speak like that. Are very. able to have a conversation about the hierarchy thing. I think it's gone to their head that much. So I haven't been able to flesh it out with them either. No,
Yeah,
as you say, your terming it, flesh it out. Because it's just got too much, like it's just gone to their head. I think that not grounded in reality anymore can't it'd be
yeah,
great to talk about that stuff, but like on a level,
yeah,
but I don't think they often can meet you. They are we are having a meltdown. And so I'm one of them. I can go quite deep into any of these topics. So it's
yeah.
let me know if I'm going too deep into one because you want to move on to something else as we go through this, because I could go deep into all these.
Yeah, well, I thought we could just do like an introductory, like layout of the land, like feel into like what is it that we want to speak about first. And I mean,
Yeah.
um, you know,
I think for me, probably like what we're going through right now, what it's like for
mm,
us.
yeah,
Well, um, yeah, probably that's one of the things. What
yeah,
it's actually really like,
yeah,
maneuvering through, and
yeah,
what it's like with this, what the silencing's like.
yeah. You go for it, Kyla, because I think it's time to get things off chest. So, you know,
Yeah.
you go for it. Tell me how you're finding it
Well,
since
it's
2020.
hard to know where to start. I know when I've got talking, but where to start, I don't know. I just probably just said so in a small nutshell for me, like my opening up to awareness has come from my when I was younger and my family was like basically abused by the mental health system and the medical system. So that's how I've been looking into stuff since I were about since I were a kid, about 8. I'm 35 now. So ever since then, I've been going on and on and on. And then when I got to about 28, so much I'd done so much then, and so much work to get myself into a position where I could still stand up after all the things that I've witnessed with that, and all the corruption and all the abuse as a result of them being abused by that system.
Mm,
So I had to crawl myself to be able to stand up in that. And as I've gone, then when I got to about 28, that's when I kind of hit that type of them, like looking into things myself even more, into whether it were natural healing or the spiritual online stuff or books or whatever it is, that
mm,
type of stuff. And then now at 35, I feel completely different about it. I looked into it and I was like, well, sounds good, you know what I mean? It's all about helping you heal, apparently, and stuff
mm,
like that in it. So you look into it because you think obviously that's positive. But then as I've gone on and on and on, I've realised it kind of hits a ceiling, um,
mm,
and you can only go so far. And I now realise that I mean it's a bit hard with these in it because you need loads of with these sort of interviews because you need loads of space to go into why you've come to that conclusion and I think. But in a nutshell, I've realised now that it's got its own ceiling in it that you hit. And for someone like me, who like for instance has like overcome, like truly overcome certain amount of really hard stuff and done loads of inner work, what they call it, on myself. And I know I have for since
yeah,
I didn't have a choice but to do inner work when I was a child.
yeah,
I would do inner work, then I didn't know it was called inner work because I were in a household what were violent. So um, you hadn't got a choice but to come up with ideas what to do about it because you're right up against it. So by inner work started then, but I didn't know it was called that. You know what I mean? And then so I know from my own experience that from all that, which I can't explain in this, but the people will just have to jump to a conclusion and guess. And basically, that I know that I'm a person that's done and studied, so I'm very academic as well as very intuitive and grounded. So so for me, I know I've done a lot of inner work, not well, sorry, well before I knew what it were, and
yeah,
when I found what it were. And then so as I've got to a point where it's like, well, now what? The world is still burning, and these lot are keep going on and on about self-help, and that's why, and that's something that you helped me realize that was happening about 3 years ago when we met each other. When you were saying, well, now what? Everything's, it's kind of like a bypass mode that they do.
Yeah.
And I just want to just forgot to say at the beginning that I should have wrote a list, but I hadn't had that long to prepare for this. So I wanted to say at the beginning that everything that I talk about, and probably you as well, it's not basically I'm on a growth process every day. So I'm not saying anything on here to look down
Mm.
on any of these people that are still doing whatever they're doing, growing in their way, and I'm growing in my way. So nothing I say is perfect, but at end of the day, lived experience counts for a lot, and up until this very day and this month, I've had some massive experiences what have just showed me new things about all this. So basically, it's not. I know a lot of people might think we're talking about this to make it about putting people down, and it's absolutely not about that. We're trying to. Well, I'll speak for myself. I want to try and express what we're going through from our
Mm.
perspective
Mm.
about this sort of self-help stuff and the ceilings and where you can't talk anymore. Because I feel like we deserve a space to talk as well. Another thing what they always seem to talk about is truth. So they seem to have a big thing about if we are for truth, stuff like that. So, but then I found as I've gone into certain types of truth, I've been silenced. And I can describe like on here probably how that's happened recently. So I find it quite false now, and that there's something up with it because they're not going so far, and they're keeping people in a loop of
Yeah.
I'm traumatized, which we all are to different degrees. I'm gonna do some healing. I'm still traumatized, heal. But for someone who's done so much of that, like I'd say nearly 30 years,
Yeah.
let's just call it that, and I look around at the world and I look at all the work I've done,
Yeah.
then it's like out what's next? And then as soon as you say that to them, that's when they drop it and they say you'd be negative. So I'm like, I just feel like it's just false and it's not truth, and it's a barrier,
Mm.
creating barriers. I don't even know if they know they're doing it. I think the main ones probably know they're doing it, but I don't think the followers know they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I fully used to like be one of the people that I used to follow, obviously might as well say it public because I've made it public for the last 8 years, is Teal Swan. So she's one of them what's classed as a spiritual leader. But there's loads of them. It doesn't matter which one you pick.
There's loads. Yeah.
So, and I've been to see her, paid money to get her books and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, her work is on point. Like a lot of it is on point at the end of the day about healing from trauma and relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I was in a group, which is like a group of her like followers on Facebook, and that's when I realised I've just been following this woman for 8 years, and I've brought up a very very important points about certain things what's going on around the world, which are very blatant, such as trafficking, so human trafficking,
Yeah.
organ harvesting, things like that. Very serious stuff what's going on. Frequency weapons that are being um, built in the infrastructure around us, and so on. These are for someone who claims they're about truth to that extent, like, and then what happened is I wrote about that, and I've been writing in this group a bit, not much. And as soon as I wrote about all that, the group stopped my post from coming in. They blocked it and they didn't block it, they kept it on pending, so waiting for admin to review it.
Yeah.
So I sent the post, another same post 2 months later. I mean, sorry, about 3 weeks later, and they did the same thing, and that post is still on pending now, and
Mm.
it's about 2 months later now. It might be like nearly 3 months later, and they won't let it in. So why is someone like that who says that she's the highest one of the highest forms of authentic movement going. And I'm talking authentic. It's not like I'm pulling these things from thin air.
Yeah.
I'm talking authentic, but I'm not getting let in the group. Now, this
Mhm.
group is about being authentic. So, are you saying that no, but nowhere does it say that you just have to talk about my boyfriend's abusing me and I feel traumatized. I have PTSD or any of them types of things. It's like you're talking about
Yeah.
reality because she
Yeah.
always talks about let's not bypass, let's look at reality. So the fact that I got blocked from that,
Yeah.
well, I never, sorry, not blocked. They put me my status on pending. It was a deep status, but there's very deep stuff going on in the world, like the topics I've just brought up and others. Now, so they put it as pending, so they didn't accept it in, but they didn't say this status goes against any of our group rules. So
Mm.
that's what I thought were weird. They just kept it pending in thin air. And
Mm.
that and there's other things what's happened as well, where what we've both been through recently, similar things where we've been silenced very, very obviously by people what are claiming they're about truth for us. So that's it in a nutshell. And therefore I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not bothered how long. I'm not bothered if I'm related to you, how long I've known you. I actually am interested in truth, and I'm not trying to like I don't know what the saying is, but I'm not bothered about trying to be people's friend like that. It's not about I love you, I idolize you. I'm just
Yeah.
like why can't you answer a question? And what I noticed it were like dealing with a politician because you
Yeah.
can't talk about. So it's so that's what I'd say on
Yeah.
that. The side
Totally.
from the people what are supposed to be about truth, to me, shows that there's some dodgy dealings going off, and I've got a different perspective on it all now. And
Yeah. I mean, just what you've said there, I mean, it's like I had a conversation with a friend that's sort of similar like ours, like we have a thirst for rooting through the darkness and identifying like you seem to be talking bullshit, you seem to be talking bullshit, you are actually not, despite your marketing of yourself,
yeah,
looking for a liberated humanity and a liberated planet with no dodgy power hierarchies and no dodgy abuses like the ones you said: human trafficking, child trafficking, sex abuse, organ harvesting, etc., etc. And this friend of mine said to me, I guess we're really being shown that we are really having to step into actually who we are and our own power, because we are so
mm,
used to seeing these sort of VIP humans being on the stage in front of us going, I'm with you, Team Human. Come on, let's all do it together. And it's like, I mean, it's a great expression, isn't it? False light. It really is the false light.
yeah,
And it is taking some time to sort of root through what is false light and what is yes, who is genuinely wanting freedom. Because it's like I don't really give a dot dot if these VIP, healery types, or the ones that say I'm on a mission, with humanity and da da. I don't
mm,
really mind what you're doing with your life. Um, but I since 2020 was to me the sign that it's like Team Human Go, with the fake Killer Play story. It's like it's simply not good enough anymore. And it's not like sometimes people have said to me, well, is it because you've put them on a pedestal and you're looking for a savior? And it's like, no, that's not good enough. You're bypassing and you're talking your own programming. I'm saying that they need to come off the pedestal and we all need to communicate together, because I'm
yeah,
not looking for them to save me and I didn't put them on the pedestal, but some
mm,
people have done that. And I think the
yeah,
people behind them that are, doing the puppeteering, they have most definitely consciously and knowingly put them in these key positions on humanity's stage to deceive, bamboozle, cause more suffering, because as you and I have said many times, from childhood, and we've both had really different life experiences and different, you know, situations that we've had to navigate. but we knew there was something very, very wrong on this planet. And like you alluded to earlier, well, not alluded, you expressed it, like fleshed it out. Like once you've done all the so-called healing things just to keep alive on the planet from going
Yeah.
under, it doesn't change the fact that we're living in a captured realm where we don't have freedom.
There
And
you go.
you and I have talked about this a lot because it's like massive bugbear. It's like, stop saying to me, people, freedom is a state of mind. Look at me, I'm doing these creative things and I seem to have got abundance. And it's like, but it's not all about you. It's about the entirety of humanity.
That's the thing.
It's
Goes
about
through.
all of us, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, it's just come up saying 9:52 remaining. It's not going to go off, is it?
It will go off in 9 something. And when it
Oh,
goes
is
off,
it? Ah,
be the end of our part 1, and then we'll come in
yeah.
again and just carry
All
on.
right. So what did you just finish on then? You were just saying about just go back to what you were
It's
just
just
saying.
not. I mean, it
Yeah,
feels
it's not it's not freedom just because you've got your kids in that school or
yeah.
because this is a massive, as we found now, basically it's run by gangsters. This, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's how I see it.
Yeah, same.
So they've got the fraudulent legal system in place, which is operating every aspect of people's life.
Yeah.
And I know that they are so. I need hours, me, but I know that they're using coercion and all sorts of different things to make people not know and stay ignorant. So,
Yeah.
like I always say, it does take two to tango. The people have got to show interest in, like we are in life, which a lot of them they're not.
Yeah, no, it's that fact that has been troubling me since I was a child. Like, why hasn't anyone noticed? And I'm still asking that question out loud to the cosmos. Like, why haven't people noticed? And I feel so disturbed because it's like, is this how intense and how multi-layered and how dense the mind control programming is on everyone? Do you know what I mean, Kyla? Because we've said this before. It's like people are not showing an interest in the outside world. And why not then? There must be something. They
Well, I
must be
think
under
one.
some spell. Like,
Well, one. I think one of the arms of the spell is
mm,
they make them. They made people comfortable enough. So people in UK, they
mm,
are going through different tragedies, but at the same time, they're comfortable enough to get through the day. It's like an uncomfortable comfortableness that they're in,
comfortably
or
numb.
that we're in, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you just got, I don't know, like them things making you comfortable, you're not gonna like need to switch it up as much. And I think all these different and yeah, numbing agents, so the foods and the drinks and the drugs, they're not helping. I mean, yeah, so I think that's one of them, but there's loads about what's
Yeah,
making them
it's
not happy.
everything, isn't it?
Yeah, like I even wanted to say when I was just thinking before I came in what to talk about, which is that really, what is making them so silent? People,
Yeah.
what is it? What is doing it?
Yeah. I mean,
So one of the things that oh sorry, go on.
no, I was just going to say, why don't I put the end button on this and then we can really like dive into that. What is
What
making
is
people
making them
so silent?
silent? Yeah,
Yeah, and we can
yeah.
just go through the various
See what
excuse
we think.
theories that we have without getting into detail, because over the next few weeks we can keep going into detail.
Then.
So let's do that in part 2, Kyla.
All
Um,
right, then
all
cool.
right, sending you the link now, okay?
Oh, do link again. All right, then see you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.